What's up, guys? Universal Mastery. So in today's video, what I'm going to be talking about is what most people do not know about the occult. Stay tuned. Okay, so what most people don't know about the occult. Okay, this is definitely a very fascinating topic because the first thing that I really want to dive into is the possibilities that there really is within the occult. Okay, so when it comes to the occult, there is a group of people that believe that, you know, it's only psychology. They believe that the things that will manifest and certain things that will tend to happen are only based on a psychological foundation. Meaning they think, like, when you work with a spirit, that it's only a it's only a psychological aspect of yourself that you're understanding and becoming more self-aware of. And in that way, you're able to manifest certain situations, you know, in yourself and in your day-to-day life based on that foundation, based on that principle that these demons, these spirits are literally just the self. So the first thing I want to say is that is not all true. That is half of the equation. Demons and spirits, although are within and can be accessed within, are separate external beings at the same time. They are their own energetic signatures. They are their own frequencies. That's why when you go to work with a spirit that you've never worked with before, that's why you have to work with that spirit, and you have to channel its sigil, and you have to say its end, and you have to open that gateway from that spirit, from that deity, in order to open that gateway within yourself. If they were just a part of the self, and always have been, you wouldn't have to open those gateways. You wouldn't have to go to the spirit and say, I want you to open this gateway in my own, you know, in my own being, in my own consciousness, for you to be able to influence me and for us to have, you know, a connection or some sort of communication. If that's the case, if it's just psychological, then you shouldn't have to go and draw the sigil and say the end. You shouldn't have to call on the spirit for it to do that. So what I'm trying to say is that, yes, when you work with a spirit, it opens a gateway in you, and that gateway becomes a part of who you are. So it does influence you and work through you, and it also is its own separate being at the same time. That is one of the most important things that you need and want to understand when you walk this path. One of the most important things, and I will say that with 110% confidence, okay? If you're walking on the psychological model and you think that is the only aspect, you think it's just you, it's just your psyche, you have high chances of making yourself go insane. Because you will get direct experience from external forces, and you will be trying to egotistically rationalize how it is just you that is producing those experiences. And you don't want to get to that point. So, you know, and I'll be honest, a lot of people do. A lot of people fall into the psychological model and they get tested. It's essentially like an initiation. It's like a test. Your own God, like, I'll tell you this, from the initiations that I've done, from the path workings that I've done, they've been pretty intense, right? They've been pretty powerful. And a lot of them have challenged me on a level of, do you really believe we're real? Do you really think we exist outside of just you? And although there are some spirits that spend more time existing through you than on their own, doesn't mean that they don't also exist on their own as well. So what I'm trying to say is that, yeah, like, they will test you. Very powerful forces of nature, very powerful currents, most likely are going to test you on that level to be like, okay, do you think that it's just you that's opening all these gateways, that's doing all this work? Or do you think there's a chance that we could be powerful enough that we are also partaking in your evolution with you, and literally like manifesting certain spiritual gateways to open that are going to cause you to move in a direction that's going to open a gateway for yourself, but is also, I have to choose to walk into that gateway. So it is literally like a 50-50. There is this is the biggest principle you could ever follow is balance, guys. Balance. As within, as without. You guys understand how powerful that is? As above, so below. Oh my gosh, like, it is so important to know that. And once again, that is one of the main traps when you actually get into this path and you start to work the systems. Even though if you may logically understand what I'm telling you right now, you will be tested on a spiritual level, meaning you will be inclined to be tested on this type of level too. Are you going to fall into the psychological trap and think that these spirits don't have dominion and exist outside of you? I believe that's what, I don't want to like say 100%, but from the research I've done and from what I've studied from other people, I believe that's what Aleister Crowley fell into. That's why he was so, he literally put Satanism on the map and kind of, for a while, and was giving it a lot of attention in a good way. And then he built his own satanic church, and then it kind of became kind of like a little bit too religious. And I believe during that time, that's when he started getting tested on that psychological level. And because he was in the spotlight, like the way he was, pretty much being famous and having all this external influence from other people trying to challenge him, and him trying to maintain this image that he was no longer supposed to be, that he fell into the psychological trap. And that's why he kind of ended up saying like, oh, they're just in your mind. Like, I'm pretty sure that was a big piece of what he thought was his gnosis, was these demons and all these infernal beings, all these gods, all these deities are just in the mind. Like, they're only in your mind. They don't exist outside of you. They can only be you, which is not true. Okay, and that's why he fell off, and that's why it's his name really isn't that big anymore. And I'm not saying this out of disrespect. I'm saying this because we can learn from the mistake that he made. And once again, when you start to really channel these beings and you start to get some pretty solid results that aren't possible to be just the self, I mean, these beings will directly communicate. I mean, I will say this, I'm also blessed enough and lucky enough that I had an experience, and I'm sure a lot of this has to do with my upbringing and my genes, where I had an experience where very profound things happened outside of me to show me how real this shit was. But once again, in order for me to have those experiences, I had to be in a really dark place in my life. Now, I was at a really dark place where most people don't make it out of. So, yeah, you could say I went through some trials in order to have an experience like that. So it kind of balances itself out still. But once again, the moral of the story is you need to be aware of the psychological model trap, and always remember, through your meditations, through your invocations, through your evocations, that will, like, if you're feeling like you're falling into that psychological trap, those types of things, those types of meditations are going to rebalance you. They're going to show you that this stuff is more real than what our egotistical minds like to say it is. Sometimes we like to put things in boxes a lot of the time. And this is from my gnosis. This is like one of the things that, you know, these powerful spirits laugh at us about. And even our own higher selves. Like, you got to understand, your own higher self is the only spirit that you should really worship. You know what I mean? Like, you should put all your energy into commanding your intention and intentions for worship towards is your own spirit, right? Like, we have, like, when I say these spirits are looking at us, laughing at us, that's our own spirit as well. We have our own higher self. We have a spirit. There's a spirit that is possessing my physical body right now and saying the things that I'm saying right now. I'm seeing spirits manifest as I'm talking right now, right? Like, so what I'm getting at is that they, like, a lot of the things that they laugh about and they look at us as, like, you know, when we get into these like little egotistical bouts and we start putting everything in boxes, like, and it's so funny to some of these really powerful spirits. It's so funny to our higher selves because they're looking at us, they're like, this guy really thinks that shit. This guy really is falling into that trap. And once again, it's not a problem if you fall into that trap, because this is one of those common traps that are created to see which way you're going to go. This is a common thing when you start to get into the occult, and that you may not know about, is that you will be tested on levels to see what direction you're going to go in, and the direction that you choose to go in is very important. Okay, it's very important because it can, you know, direct the next steps that you're going to take in your life. And that's essentially what an initiation is. When you come face to face with a certain challenge and you make the right decision, you make the right choice, that's going to lead you closer to you becoming your own God, becoming your literal incarnate of your higher self, which is your daemon or your holy guardian angel or whatever you want to call it, your truest self, your full expression. So yeah, that's pretty much what I wanted to share in this video. And then the other thing is that I want to expand on the possibilities. So now that we understand that there are spirits outside of us that are influencing and working through us, the possibilities that are out there are I don't want to say unimaginable, because they are totally imaginable. I mean, when you think in your imagination, you think of a wizard, you think of a warlock or a mage or a shaman. You're thinking of something in your mind most likely that's able to wield actual fire. You're thinking of someone that actually can command magic like Harry Potter. Okay? Correct me if I'm wrong. You're thinking of someone that can move water like the Avatar, like the cartoon. You're thinking of things in this mystical nature. Yes, this is an imagination. This is imagination. But when you work at occult levels that are very advanced and you start opening gateways that are very deep and very hidden, you start traveling down paths that not a lot of people have traveled or have courage and enough willpower to travel, you will start to thin the veil, meaning thin reality and imagination down thin enough that you can cross through much more effectively with fluidity, meaning you will be able to manifest things that to most people are unimaginable, yet they can imagine in their mind. You will be able to manifest whatever you put your imagination to, because you will have thinned the veil enough that you know that you have the power and the ability to create it and manifest it. Meaning yes, there are magicians and there are powerful people. I will name one for you right now that we all know. David Blaine. People in the nature of David Blaine. I've seen videos of this guy. There's a video where he goes to David Dobrik's house, and David Dobrik talked about this. But you know, this is all just natural stuff that's on YouTube. And for me, since I'm a wizard and I practice magic, I'm always like looking at things from a different perspective. And I just remember watching this. It was so cool because I would watch David Blaine's videos and I would wonder, like, is he doing demon magic? And he totally is. I mean, if you guys don't know, David Blaine's got to be one of the most powerful black magicians out there because he's constantly defying the laws of nature. But you guys also have to realize that he's also done some crazy things with his body too. Meaning he's put his body at risk from life and death. And that's essentially, those are initiations. Like, these are levels of initiation that not many people have it in them to do. And that's part of the reason why he has the power he has. Because if you can imagine, if he's willing to do that with his body, what do you think he's willing to do when it comes to magic? You know what I mean? This is the type of mindset that you want to adopt. But I remember I was watching this video of him, and he appeared in David Dobrik's blog, and they said in the video that when David Blaine showed up to the house, the lights literally turned off. The electricity literally shut off. And this is another common thing that happens with really powerful practitioners, is that when you start getting deep into magic the way that I'm talking about, and you start to go around things like certain things with technology that involve electricity, you sometimes, a lot of the times, you will notice that you alter the technology. Meaning like the cameras, might turn off every now and then, or a light might flicker and turn off, or a battery won't be working, a phone won't be working. Things in that nature will start to happen because you are literally a walking essence of a very potent energy that not many frequencies can handle, and you can overload those frequencies and cause them to flat wire. Okay? This is the type of shit. So when David Blaine is doing sleight of hand, if you guys don't know who David Blaine is, I'm not going to explain it. Go search him up. He's a magician that does sleight of hand, and he does real magic at the same time. He balances it. And when he's doing things and he's literally making objects appear in places where he didn't go and touch, that not all of what he does is sleight of hand. He's actually applying real magic mixed with sleight of hand, and that's the art of illusion mixed with magic. People think it's all sleight of hand, but he's actually defying the laws of nature in front of people, and that's the art of it. But yeah, that stuff is really possible, guys. That's the next thing I want to say is, like, people that fall into that psychological trap, they don't know the possibilities that there really is in magic. And the most advanced practitioners, you know who you are. You're probably watching this because you're probably gravitated towards my channel. And then for the ones that are falling into this trap, then you're probably watching this because you need to hear this message and realize, like, okay, there's a lot more than what I thought was real. For us advanced practitioners, we understand this, and we're working daily and consistently to thin that veil as thin as we can get it, so that we can be the full expression of our higher self and essentially do manifestations like that. I mean, the Bible was riddled with tons of magicians that were able to define the laws of nature, right? Like, this is part of doing the great work, okay? And this is something that also motivates real practitioners. And once again, real practitioners, I'm sure you heard the saying, real recognize real. That's exactly how it will always be in the field of the occult when it comes to real practitioners. The real will always recognize the real. You will always have respect for another powerful occultist because you understand what they go through. You understand that they literally earn their power. And you can tell because it emulates. You can sense it psychically. And that's what I love about this field. It's not some bullshit. It's not I'm just talking a bunch of shit. It's not like I go to the gym, I shoot steroids, and I think I'm swole, and I want people to gratify me based on that. This is real shit. You have to have psychological willpower. You have to have emotional strength. You have to have all these attributes. You have to have integrity, all those things in order to be successful in this path. So other than that, I'm going to leave this video here. I definitely know it offered value to some of you. Hit the like button, hit the subscribe button, hit the notification bell because I'm posting videos as often as I can. Go to that first link. It's going to take you to my Streamlabs merch. I'm wearing it right now. This is a very powerful symbol. This is a very powerful sigil of Hecate. And when you wear this will literally cause certain manifestations to happen in your day-to-day life. That is how powerful the sigil is. I'm actually going to make a whole video on this sigil right here. So definitely stay tuned for that. And then if you want to place your order for the merch, you go to that link, Streamlabs, first link, and then you put in your credit card information, then you put in your address, and then they will ship it straight to your house. It'll be at your house from 3 to 5 days. Okay, so if you want to show loyalty to your ancestors, to your spirit guides, to your own higher self, and to your own magical power, definitely go get yourself one of these shirts with the Hecate sigil on it. But other than that, go to the link below, and that's going to take you to my Facebook community. If you want to join my Facebook community, it's basically a group where I post a little bit, some exclusive content in there when it comes to pictures with quotes, things in that nature, so you can request to join. If I feel like you're a good fit, I'll add you in. And then if this is the next thing, if you have any questions up to 3 questions and you want me to answer them step by step, broken down in depth and detail, you can send me $5 on Venmo. My Venmo is at the very top of the description. Send me $5, send me your number, let me know you send me the $5, I'll go check, and then I will send the video message on my phone to your phone, addressing all your questions step by step. So other than that, I'm gonna leave it here. I will see you guys on the next video, and peace.